Hope all is well. If you traded today, had a successful trading today. As always, I'm going to be going over the S&P 500 E-mini futures for today, Tuesday, July 1st, first day of the new month. Interesting day today to go over with you guys with. Um, as always, before I get going, shout out to Al Brooks. His course will be down below, and a huge shout out to Troy H, my mentor. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be trading at all. I wanted to let you guys know before I get into this video that I won't be posting on Thursday and Friday. With the short day on Thursday, I'm not going to be trading. And then, of course, Friday, the market is closed. We had a pretty good day today to walk you guys through. And I'm going to be going over the price action of today and the best trades that I think were there and some of the trades that I took. And I'm just going to go ahead and jump into it. So we start off the day opening with a bit of a gap down from the aftermarket hours. And as you guys know, all these lines: previous day high, pre-market low, previous day low, and then I marked out the open of the day at one point, but it doesn't even matter. So it bounced up a little bit, and I thought that 1 and 2 could probably get a second leg, but you know 3 is not a great bar. There aren't really any good strength factors here, so you get couple pushes up past the EMA very early in the first 5 bars of the day. Then you go sideways for a little bit and get a third kind of climactic push up, kind of creating the top of the range, or at least that's how I looked at it. So to start off the day, you very early get 1, pullback on 3, 2, complicated pullback on 6 through 8, 3 pushes up, but nothing very significant that I would want to trade. Nothing that really shot out to me and was like, okay, you really need to hop in a trade here. 4 was a great bar with a good micro gap closing on its high, but it's already in a second leg, so it wasn't very interesting to me. I guess you could have bought the close of 4 and scalped up for, if you wanted to sit through all of this, you could have made about 5 to 8 points, but just not in my interest. Next, you get a quick seems like a reversal down. So it seems like this creates the top of the trading range here on 10, and then you get a double top with a tick gap. Huge reversal down, shooting through the EMA with a very strong micro gap. I think if this would have closed a little bit more on its low, I would have sold this bar, expecting getting in on an early leg after 3 pushes up, probably pretty exhausted, and it's probably going to try to test the bottom of the range or create a new bottom of the range for the day. So I could have done that, but I wanted to wait for a little bit more of confirmation. So once 12 and 13, once 13 happened, kind of a pullback failure, and then 14 once again tried to pull back to the EMA and failed again. I sold, I'm pretty sure I sold the close of 14. After that micro gap and a pretty decent close is now 4 bars down. And I expected somewhat of a pullback at some point, but I definitely expected a second leg down, probably testing the pre-market low. And as you guys can see, it went down about 6 points, and then we had 17. I thought this was just gonna be a small pullback, maybe one small pullback pushes down to the pre-market low, maybe even previous day low, and then maybe goes sideways. Um, so this was fine. 18 was a little bit of a doji bar, but 19 was the one that was really scary for me. Unfortunately, I sold here, or sorry, wrong tool. So I sold on the close of 14, expecting kind of catching maybe a little bit earlier of this leg, expecting a second push down. And I took a small stop loss on 19. Once this closed very strong, as you can see, pushing above the EMA, I thought my hypothesis had failed. And of course, it was kind of a bummer. It ended up working out, and I would have been able to make, at least 10 points on this trade. It didn't exactly do what I hypothesized, but even after 22 ripped up, I could have been able to take profits, at least making, 5 to 7 points. But it was what it was. Was just down a little bit to start off. Um, and then we get a very tight, so then you can even think that this is maybe some implied pullbacks here. So maybe 1, 2, deep pullback three pushes down now, creating the bottom of the range. And you get a very, very good rejection of the bottom of the range, kind of rejection of the pre-market low on 22, and a very, very strong, powerful bar up, looking like this is now maybe three or two good pushes down, and we're going to have a trend reversal. And then 24 was a huge momentum indicator for me. You have really good bar on 22, very great bar on 23, which within a very impressive micro gap, closing above the EMA. Um, so I definitely thought that now this was kind of in breakout mode. This is the best breakout we had seen all day, at least for strength factors, closing on the highs, strong IBS, very large micro gap. So I bought here on 23 and had to sit through a very deep pullback. I had a pretty wide stop loss of 10 points, so I was about 2 points off from hitting my stop loss, but I ended up being able to ride this back up, and I just took profit. I just took profit at the top of the range. So I bought I bought on 25. I think I bought more at the EMA, so I ended up scaling in, and then it went up to the range, and I ended up making about 10, I think around 15 points. Um, Once, 32 and then 35 pushed to the top of the range, I got my sell off. So kind of look at it as one very good push up, very deep pullback, and then you could say two more pushes up or a complicated second leg. But on the 15-minute chart, this is definitely one pullback two. But on the five, it's one pullback two, pullback three pushes up. Um, so I thought that that was a pretty good trade. You could have definitely probably waited, maybe not taken the initial 24, been waiting for a pullback, and after 26 gets a very impressive bar down. You think that the hypothesis kind of failed and then it gets follow through. But then once you see the three bars push back up, you get a pullback failure on 31. You could have bought the close of 31, closing above the EMA, and could have ripped up for 13 points on a second leg, arguably maybe a third leg here. But definitely been some tricky price action over the last couple of weeks that I haven't completely understood, but I'm trying my best. And then we kind of go sideways. Like I said, I think this kind of, we're at the very top of the range. It's at this point in the day really respected the top of the range that it had created from earlier. Nothing is really breaking through. So we get kind of three pushes up or two pushes up. And we go sideways. 42 is a very good, strong bar down, but it pushes through the EMA and doesn't get any follow through and quickly rejects. And then this actually happened, which was a good trade for me. That I thought the 43 through around 46, 47 doesn't have the greatest strength factors, but it's very uniform sized bars. It has distance factor. And I did a lot of calculations, and I thought that it was about 80 to 90% to get some sort of a non-symmetrical second push up. So I was very, very smart and waited for confirmation because I didn't like 48's doji bar, and I was thinking maybe we could have a quick reversal. So I waited for confirmation on 50, bought 50, and then once 51 happened, I moved my stop loss up to break even, so I was in on a free trade. Um, Went very, very close to hitting my break even on 52, but I kind of stuck through it and was like, I'm in a free trade. It might as well, get some sort of a second push up, maybe to the pre-market high. Most of the time, I think it's something like 75% of the time, the market will try to test either the pre-market high or pre-market low at some point in the day, and it hadn't done it yet. It got very close on 21, but it didn't get there. So I thought that this was probably the best opportunity, and was able to make about four to 5 points on this trade. And then after that, I thought I was pretty done for the day. Um, the only other trade I saw, so you kind of get three pushes up again, one, pullback two, pullback three, goes sideways again into the trading range as well, kind of just bouncing off the EMA, not really doing much. And then you get kind of a couple more breakouts on the day. Um, you get this breakout down. 66 is a really strong bar with a very strong micro gap, but You could have definitely sold the close thinking it broke through the EMA. It's probably going to get some follow through. And you can see with the long wick that you could have probably made at least 10 points, or even if you would have waited till it got some resistance, you could have at least made five. But based on the whole overall trend of the day and what other bars had done, such as 42, I didn't find it very interesting, even though it had some good strength factors. You also probably could have seen, or at least I did. And I actually was practice traded because I was done for the day, but I actually entered in on this. You could have really viewed 69 to 72 as a very, it's a very strong leg. It's 4 bar micro channel. Doesn't start off with the greatest leg, but you have 2 micro gaps. You have 2 tick gaps. You have bars closing on their high. 72 closes on its high, and you get a very deep pullback, more than 50%, 66. But if you wanted to play it safe and wait for confirmation, you get a really good bar on 75, and it's a little late in the day. That's why I didn't actually take this on my real account, but you get a really good close above the EMA on 75, looking like a confirmation that this is going to get somewhat of a second push up. And you could have bought for a very, very quick scalp and would have been able to walk away with, um, 4 to 6 points if you really wanted to stay in. So just a lot of really good scalp plays today. Nothing really very, very um, big, I guess, besides 22, and then pull back the ride up to the high of 33. And then at the end of the day, it kind of dumps. It looks like people kind of take profits, and it dumps a little bit like yesterday. But I don't think you would want to get on a trade on the last 30, 25 minutes of the day. So yeah, that was my very quick analysis of today. Please let me know if you have any questions, comments, any thoughts, any trades that you guys took down below. Please just feel free to comment, leave myself or leave this video a like if you don't mind. And thank you guys so much for watching. Shout out to Troy H, shout out to James H, and shout out to Al Brooks. Thank you guys.